guys. What is up?
Hello. How's it
Thanks for
going?
joining us for another Fromily Friday. Sorry we missed last week. We took off for the holiday, but we're back, and I'm very happy about it.
Yes.
Some news this week. I just found out that From is going to be represented at San Diego Comic-Con. So,
Ooh.
yeah, I'm really excited. There's going to be a panel. I'm not sure who's on the panel yet, but I'm hoping that they put it on YouTube because I would really enjoy that.
Yeah.
And
We could discuss.
yeah, it would be cool. And I'm hoping if they do have a panel, I do hope that Catalina Santina Moreno is there, so that everybody can hear her talk and see what she sounds like.
Right.
You guys, I am like, I am so annoyed.
Yeah.
I can't believe how many comments I've seen from people criticizing her for slipping in and out of an accent. That's her goddamn accent.
That's just how she talks.
Yes.
Like, go yell at Kathy Bates about American Horror Story Season 4. Like, leave her alone. That's literally how she sounds.
Yes. Yeah. It's, like people expect any Latino woman or Hispanic woman to sound like Sofia Vergara.
Yes.
That's how she talks. Oh, it's so annoying. I mean, there's I don't know if you knew this, but remember Magda from Walking Dead?
Mm-hmm.
I think she actually came over here from Germany, like right before.
Oh, wow.
Like no accent whatsoever.
None.
Perfectly
I would have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, she's not doing it for the show. That's how, like, she doesn't have an accent. The actress doesn't have an accent when she talks. It's kind of crazy.
That's some talent.
Yeah. It's also the power of the English language too.
Yeah.
It's you'll see that a lot with like I've seen that a lot with some of the Korean, some of the K-pop stars. Like when they talk, it's just kind of crazy. You're like, wait, you're not American? Because they just have
perfect Korean and perfect English.
Yes. Yeah, and when they speak English, there's no like it's just perfect American accent. It's so bizarre.
They do a lot better at teaching English in foreign countries than they do at teaching foreign languages in America, unfortunately.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. So yeah, this was kind of a crazy episode. Wild Marjoram, I had to address this comment because it's hilarious. Those are Easter eggs in Ellis's jeans. Oh my gosh. Yeah, because I put on the thumbnail, I put a little picture of him up there. I'm like, Easter eggs or Ellis's jeans, people, Easter eggs. Yeah, it's a very, very funny comment. So if you are catching this after the fact and you just happen to stumble upon it and we're like, wait, why didn't I see this on the main channel? We are exclusively on Cyborg Queen 2 now. So just go to YouTube and pop in Cyborg Queen 2 and you'll find us. But yeah, why don't we jump into it? The synopsis is pretty short this week. It is a celebration of Colony House turns into tragedy. Katri tries to convince Boyd to take him and Sarah with him. All right.
To the point.
Yep.
All right. So we open at Colony House as everyone is preparing for a party. They're hanging a sign that really, really reminds me of. Are you an Arrested Development fan?
I am not. Can you believe I've never seen it?
Gosh. Oh, you would really get a kick out of it. There's so many background gags, but one of my favorite background gags is every time the family has a party, they they put up a sign and they cross out whosever name it is and write someone else's name over top of it. And it's like, congratulations on coming home from jail, Mom, or like whatever. And they'll, you know, pencil it in, and that's its congratulations, Fatima, is like taped on
so funny.
her little birthday sign or her anniversary sign. I thought it made me laugh because that's exactly what it reminds me of.
Yeah.
There's one version where the sign is all crossed out and it just says, "You're killing me, Buster," which is the name of the youngest son. It's the mom telling him, "You're killing me." It's funny. Anyway, sorry to get off on a Arrested Development tangent. Check it out.
I always tried to check it out, but I just never got around to it.
It is so much fun, and it is like one of those things that pays off on multiple rewatches so much. Like, you catch so many gags the more you watch it.
Nice.
Ellis is watching them hang up the banner. He's looking pretty uncomfortable and sad while drinking from his flask. Upstairs, Julie is watching Fatima search for something around her room. Basically get ready for the party. Julie says that she thinks it's weird for people to celebrate the day that they got trapped here. But Fatima says it's more of a celebration of survival, which I think is a very good way to look at it. Like, doesn't seem like most people make it in a year.
Yeah. It does seem weird to me though, because like I used to celebrate the anniversary of my car crash that disabled me because like basically I should have died in that accident.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to celebrate it. I just don't anymore. I don't have a reason for not doing it anymore. And just kind of, you know.
I love a non-traditional anniversary. It's like there's not enough things to celebrate on the regular. Like,
yeah, I agree. But yeah,
I used to do.
It does seem a little strange to me though to celebrate something like that they're actively trying to get out of. You know,
it's a little dark.
Yeah.
No, I one year made up Whiskey Tuesday. And we just drank whiskey every Tuesday, and that for a year. Just nice. It's no Whiskey Tuesday. That's what I'll say. But it is a nice gesture. It makes sense that it really doesn't seem like most people, especially pre-Boyd, made it that long. So congratulations, Fatima, for being there for over a year.
Agreed. And he should be happy because it's when he met her.
Exactly. It's their first time being together and getting to know each other. Fatima finishes her search by pulling a bag out from under her bed. It's the suitcase she arrived with. She pulls out a big, chunky yellow sweater from inside and said it's the only thing she owns that she hides from Trudy constantly, that she does not want Trudy to get her hands on. And that also that it's Elvis's favorite sweater, which is cute.
It is, but I'm thinking like, really, that's Elvis's favorite sweater?
Yeah. It's strange.
I mean, maybe she looks really good in that color.
It does look good on her. It's a cute sweater, but it's like very like second grade teacher.
Yeah.
You know, like it's not giving femme fatale or anything. It's just cute. It's just a cute. It does look cute on Trudy.
Yeah, it does. Trudy is very cute. Trudy's actually gorgeous.
She's an adorable girl.
Yeah.
I'm looking at her. Ellis comes upstairs. I missed this part. Julia tells her the way Fatima's way of thinking makes her very special and is clearly like feeling the Fatima vibe. Like, I don't know how else you would describe it. She's so obviously enamored with her.
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't anybody be, honestly?
Absolutely. Yeah. in a heartbeat. It would be like this throuple happening. Please and thank you. My only issue with that is that Julie is 16.
Yeah.
So, but also maybe they're never escaping. So who knows what's, you know. Ellis comes upstairs. He is already pretty lit. He's trying to encourage Fatima and Julie to drink with him, but neither one of them do. He tells them that they both suck and goes to find Victor, which I thought was hilarious.
I love that. I love that so much.
He said, you guys suck. Where's Victor? That's the party animal that's going to drink with me.
I was just thinking of like, has Victor drank with you before?
Right?
I can't see Victor getting drunk, but I would like to see it.
I can't either.
I would like to see it though.
He must have, I feel like, if Ellis thought he was a viable candidate, but like, he just seems like such a man, not like in a bad way. Is there a non-bad way to be a man-child? Well, he seems like such a man-child in the least offensive way I can mean it.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like if he got drunk, he would be very much like me when I don't get drunk anymore, but when I used to, I feel like he would be very much like me in the sense that he just passes out immediately.
I feel like he'd be a sad, like, I feel like he'd be like, yeah, I'm sad, and then go to sleep.
Yeah.
Like that person.
Yeah.
Ella says he's a party guy. He probably knows better than I do.
Yeah.
Julie asks Fatima if Ellis is okay. She says he'll be fine. Days like this are just hard for him. She offers Julie some of the clothing out of her suitcase to wear and tells her that it will look beautiful. Julie gives Fatima major hard eyes as we move on downstairs. We're moving downstairs. Ellis asks Victor how he's not interested in getting drunk, considering he's the person who's been there the longest. Victor tells him to leave him alone. Donna enters and calls for Ellis. He tries to get her to take a shot. She also refuses, and Ellis wanders off. Crazy. Yeah, no one wants to hang with Ellis, which I would have taken a shot with Ellis. It seems like a great time.
Same.
I think everyone can just tell he's like not in the right headspace to be doing the amount of drinking that he's already doing, and they're like, this is going to be a bummer later. I don't want to be tied to the. Victor turns to Donna, very concerned about being unable to find any peaches in the cabinet. Donna says that there haven't been any more, but she's put aside some other things for him, which I thought was really sweet.
Yeah.
She saved him like fruit cocktail and cranberry sauce and whatever else she could find that was like close to peaches. Victor said that. Sweet. Yeah, right. Donna's such a good caretaker.
Yeah.
I feel like she doesn't get enough credit in the fandom because everyone thinks she's a mole. Victor says that is the one thing all these years that's never changed, that they've always had peaches and now they're gone. Donna apologizes and Victor walks away real sadly. And outside Colony House, we see who I will henceforth be calling Creepy Kevin, leaving another bouquet of flowers for his undead boo, whose name is Jasmine. Thanks for that, From Writers.
Oh, man.
Outside, we see Boyd walking the town, ringing the go-to-bed bell, while Cautry's sitting out in front of the sheriff's station waiting for him. We see inside the Matthews house, Tabitha is reading the ending of Flight of the Chromonocle to Ethan as he's falling asleep. I wish I had written down what she had said because I feel like it was really important. And I meant to go back
get anything out of it.
I forgot. No, you didn't get anything?
No, I agree. It's like I kind of wish one of us had written it down, but I didn't. Like, I'm regretting it now because it would be, at least we could bring it up, but I don't know. It didn't seem like it had anything interesting in it. In
She's
my
still wearing
opinion.
her fame sweatshirt too. I think there was something about flying. Like she'd have to learn to fly again, and she was still wearing that fame sweatshirt. And I was like,
oh, that's funny.
It's all coming together. I totally forgot to go back and write it down. I'll do it for next week. We'll bring it up next week at the end or something.
Nice.
We move to the Liu house where Jade is writing frantically all over one of Kenny's books that he is currently reading. Kenny complains and takes the book away from him, and Jade says if he he wrote all over the walls like a psychopath, which
right, because writing that drawing the symbol is so normal.
Yeah. In a book or on the table or anywhere else is fine as long as it's not the walls, which is what the Matthews are also doing.
Yeah.
So
that is kind of funny. That
double commentary there. Back at the sheriff's station, Boyd arrives to find Khatri waiting for him. He says they have things to discuss, and Boyd says that he guesses they're having a sleepover, which is like, yeah. You guys are not going to have a good time.
No, not at all. Not at all.
It's like sleepovers in Fromville all generally have negative connotation.
Yeah.
Considering the Sarah and Christy sleepover ended so badly.
Yeah.
And this one.
And at the end of season 2 as well.
Yeah, damn. Let's not have
bad sleepover.
Yeah.
That was a really bad sleepover.
Not a good time.
Yeah.
At the Matthews house, Jim is sketching plans for the radio tower. Tabitha asks him how he's going. He basically launches into this big speech about how it would be doable if he could make a bunch of very difficult things happen, like getting all the building materials in town, draining all the batteries, getting permission from Boyd, Donna, etc., etc. It seems like maybe the project is a bit out of reach, but is possible. Tabitha says, at least we have the hole to fall back on. And
we're in.
Yeah, right.
Big foreshadowing there.
Here for this hole. Like, she really is getting somewhere. She is getting somewhere. At Fatima's party, Ellis is very drunk. Fatima's worried, but he tells her that she's fine, that he's going to go lay down just to enjoy herself. Donna calls the party to silence and makes a really lovely speech about what a wonderful person Fatima is. They have a big Colony House toast to her. Donna gives her a gift that's a homemade dream catcher, which I thought was really interesting. I'm wondering if that has some higher... A lot of people feel like that has some kind of higher meaning.
Yeah, especially considering the title of this episode.
Mm-hmm.
All good things, because that's kind of what Donna said to her. She said,
"Yeah,
may you dream of only good things," or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it could have some meaning too. And there's also that giant dream catcher in Holly.
Yeah.
That hangs from.
Yeah, I'm assuming they're all made by Donna.
Probably.
Yeah. They resume the party. A random Colony House girl whose name I forgot to write down, they don't mention it until later, starts making out with Fatima, which makes Julie have the nervous bug outs. Back at the sheriff's station, Boyd has finished explaining to Khatri his plan to go into the woods. Khatri presents him with the bag that he dug up from the end of the episode with the bloody clothing and the chocolate bar and the alcohol. Boyd is really confused and basically asks him to explain, and Khatri launches into...
Okay, really quick before you get into that. I just had to say, I was totally with Boyd during the scene. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, you're really burying the lead here.
Yeah.
Stick it out.
You are dragging this out. Like, it honestly, like, I don't know if it's just he was like frightened to be like, I've got Sarah in my basement, but like the way he went about it took so long. Like, and like, why not start explaining beforehand? Anyway,
Yeah.
He explains that there was a young boy from his church that he noticed hanging around who seemed to need help. And that the little boy wanted to stay through the church, but he was busy getting ready for the evening services. So he gave him a candy bar out of his desk and sent him home, but he couldn't get the kid out of his head. So he went by the kid's house on his way home from church that evening to check on him. And the little boy had been beaten to death by his dad. And that caused Khatri to fly into a rage and beat up the dad probably to death. I guess we don't know. He said he beat him until his hands broke. So I'm assuming that guy didn't survive that beating.
Yeah, I feel like it was implied, but
yeah,
I think that they didn't say anything outright because I think Khatri probably doesn't know. Like,
yeah, I mean, yeah. Khatri explains that he got the alcohol and was planning to kill himself when he heard the voice of God for the first time telling him to get back in the car. And that's 2 hours later. That's how he ended up in Fromily. And that he buried all of the things when he got there and never told anyone. So Sarah drawing the picture from the label of the chocolate bar is impossible. There's no way for her to know it. He also says Sarah and Nathan have only been there for 4 months. So we do find that out now.
Yeah.
Which means people have to be arriving pretty regularly I know we discussed this. I was actually re-listening to some of the earlier podcasts, and that was a big question. I was like, how long have they been there? But like he said like 4 months.
Yeah.
So after this long-winded explanation, he tells Boyd that he has Sarah tied up in the church basement. Boyd immediately draws a gun on him, but tells him to keep talking. Khatri says he believes that whatever is going on with Sarah may be the key to getting them all out. We move back to Colony House. Creepy Kevin has snuck upstairs to call for his monster girlfriend, Jasmine. She's sitting outside pouting, saying that she's no longer going to come see him since he won't let her in. He basically says if he lets her in and they close the window right away, that no one else will get in for sure. And she convinces him to open the window. And in my notes here, I wrote, she promises that no one else will get in. And stupidly, he lets her in because, of course, he does. He's a man.
I was looking at some of the notes for some of the I was looking at a discussion thread for this episode on one of the subreddits, and some guy posted a picture of Jasmine. He's like, sorry, I'd be letting her in too.
Right, that's too. All the guards at Fromily need to be women.
Yeah, agreed.
Children and men from the doors.
Yes.
Like, bro, she's floating. They eat people. She is floating outside your second story window, being like, I promise I won't eat anyone. Let's just make out a little. Like, okay. Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah.
I can't.
She told him that he would float too, and he just, We
all float down here.
Yeah. We all float in Fromily.
All right. You ready to take over?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, downstairs, a an annoying and possibly drunk Dale starts talking to Stacy, the girl that was making out with Fatima, about the number of dimensions there are, and the differences in between bosonic string theorists and super string theorists. And I hated that they brought this up, because anytime somebody brings up string theory, I have a tendency to like, it's one of those things that I obsess over, and I have a tendency to like go down rabbit holes. So after I saw this episode, I think I was up all night like looking for stuff on string theory. But so Stacy asks if they're in another dimension, and he's like, "No, this is a pocket universe." I have no idea what a pocket universe is.
Right.
Yeah. But so yeah, it's Ellis absolutely did not get annoying and drunk and out of out of pocket, because Ellis is an angel, so he was acting perfectly appropriate and not at all a bad drunk.
No. He's a good boy.
But yeah, Ellis starts getting a little. Ellis turns into bad drunk Ellis, and basically tells Dale to shut the fuck up. Nobody cares, and which I think everybody kind of takes that attitude toward Dale.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just letting the truth slip out.
Yeah. But, I don't disagree.
Yeah.
Also, I do feel like Dale's probably right, but again, who cares? Like, the knowledge isn't going to serve anyone. Like,
right? Yeah,
you're just bragging that you understand string theory, basically.
Exactly. But yeah, so Donna comes in and kind of like, Ellis is about to slug him, but Donna kind of comes over and breaks up the fight before anything can happen. And he decides to go up to his room and tells her to stay and enjoy the night. After he leaves, Dale says he's an animal, like mother like son. And with the way he says it too is just so like it's like,
really not okay.
Like, so just like he was so proud of himself for saying that. Like, he's so smug. And wait, did we
have no idea what's happened at this point.
Oh yeah. So we don't at this point, we don't know what he means by like mother like.
No, we don't.
Okay. Yeah, so Donna just hauls off and punches him in the face. And he flies right back. And what's so funny about that is that Donna and Dale are married in real life.
That's her husband.
Yeah. So she got to punch out her husband.
I love that.
I know.
She's like, let's make it a real one, honey. I'm not gonna hurt you. Like,
yeah. Exactly. I wonder if Elizabeth Saunders gets like super method when she's filming and it's just like a total asshole to him the whole time.
I hope so.
That would be hilarious.
She's so good in this whole episode. She's just
yeah, she's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Like her facial expressions alone, I just fascinate me. Like, they're just so it's like I get obsessed with Donna's facial expressions because I feel like every one of her expressions means something really profound.
Mm-hmm. She has a very calm demeanor most of the time, so when she's making an expression, it means something. Like, she's an incredible actress. Just incredible.
Yeah, she really is. But so upstairs, Kevin opens the window and Jasmine climbs inside and shuts the window behind her. And they share some sweet words and they start kissing. Now, there was an interesting theory that I read on Reddit that somebody brought up. And they pointed out the fact that they were like, she didn't need to talk to him, to exchange like nice pleasantries, like cutesy words with him. She didn't need to kiss him. She didn't need to do any of that. She could have just attacked him as soon as she got in there. So they brought that up and said that they think that might be a clue that the monsters can only attack people who are scared.
Ooh.
And that's why she scratched his back, even though like that's not typically a monster thing to do. They just go right for,
Yeah.
They just go right to tearing him apart. So so this person suggested that she might have started scratching his back because she wanted him to get scared. Yeah.
Because as soon as he gets scared, then she bites his lip off.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting
And she could have even just immediately turned monster face at him, but she didn't. Like, she played the long game, as in like 3 minutes long, but like, she like didn't have I definitely feel like there's something to that. Like, I was thinking maybe it was like an echo of who she used to be for a few minutes, because there's like the scene where she's like straightening herself up afterwards and everything. But like, that's interesting and nothing happened until he got scared.
Yeah. And
then no one else got attacked. Well, we'll get there. All right. I don't want to jump ahead.
So in Lou's home, Kenny informs Jade that dinner is ready, and Jade is just being a pouty bitch and doesn't want to come down. And they start arguing, and then Chan arrives and starts yelling at him. He's like, all right, I'm coming. Don't want to piss off Kenny's mom.
No.
But so back to Colony House, Fatima finds Trudy sitting by herself and asks her what's wrong, which was sweet. And Trudy said, she knows. Trudy told Fatima she knows that she doesn't like her. She doesn't have to talk to her. And Fatima, of course, denies that. But Trudy says it's a nice party, and Fatima tells her that she'll get one too, and she's like, "No, I don't think I will," which is really sad.
Yeah.
But it's funny because she told her to take off her shirt, and I was like, "Whoa!" This just went a whole new direction.
Fatima is getting around this episode.
Yeah. But she said, "You drive me crazy sometimes, but you're not alone, and I want you to take this." So she gives her favorite sweater, which is really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And Trudy's really touched by it, and she's like, "I'm going to give you something too." It was totally sweet. She which we find out is Meredith, which is she loves Meredith, so that's really sweet.
Her favorite thing.
Yeah. So that's really sweet.
You really did a lot to endear you to Trudy those last few minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And to think that she was pretty much only cast for her hair.
Which is gorgeous.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she does have beautiful hair.
Mm-hmm.
But, so Julie then comes up and asks Fatima what the deal is with her kissing Stacy. And she's like,
there it is. Thank you.
Yeah. She's like, "I thought you and Ellis." She's like, "Oh yeah, Ellis is my person, but Stacy, that's just fooling around." And Julie asks very shyly and nervously if she can kiss Fatima. And Fatima is like, "Whoa, I don't think you should be asking me that." And Julie, poor Julie, is just mortified and just runs away.
Please.
I kind of, a lot of people said the scene was really weird, but I kind of liked it because Julie's 16 years old.
Yeah.
And she is, what I got from all of this is I think she might be questioning her sexuality, you know? And
Same.
she saw two women kissing, and she's like, I want to try that and see if I like it. Obviously, she's too young for that to be happening, but
yeah. At least with Fatima is in her 20s, I'm pretty sure. And it just made me so sad that that doesn't bother me. I don't find the scene weird or awkward. I just they never come back to it.
Yeah.
Or they haven't yet. Like, it's never been brought up again in 2 seasons. So at some point they're gonna have to deal with it.
Maybe some new people will come in next season and she'll get a girlfriend.
I know Elgin is real into her, but she doesn't seem to be picking up what he was putting down.
Yeah. But so she runs off, and then we go back to Boyd and Katri, and Boyd is kind of like not really buying Katri's explanation of Sarah hearing voices and everything, but he pulls out the drawing that she made of the chocolate bar logo, and Boyd's trying to rationalize it, but Katri says there's no possible way she could have known that story. And Boyd asks if he thinks that whatever is talking to Sarah is trying to help them, considering that it ordered her to kill Bing Kwan and Ethan. And Katri said that it's part of the fabric of this place, and Sarah's connection makes her valuable in ways that they don't understand.
He's not wrong at all.
Yeah, very true. And Katri tells Boyd that it's not a coincidence that Boyd is about to go on his journey at the same time that this connection comes up, which I didn't totally understand. I don't know how that relates, how one relates to the other. But
he could have decided to go at any time.
Yeah.
I don't really think they're related, but
yeah, I don't either. But Katri suggests that, I mean, maybe it's because that he thought that Sarah should go with him, but it still doesn't really, like, it just seems completely coincidental. But Katri suggests that he and Sarah go with Boyd on his trip into the woods and try to use her connection to their advantage. Back in the Matthews house, Tabitha is still digging in the basement, and Jim comes in and decides to help out. And her shoulder's bothering her, and Tabitha says she's fine, and Jim's like, I don't know if anybody of us are really fine. And, so he starts massaging Tabitha's shoulders and tells her he'll take over digging while she goes to rest with Ethan. And I had to laugh because when he was massaging her shoulders, the noises that she was making sounded very sexual.
I was like, I thought you guys are getting divorced.
Yeah, that divorce thing seemed to end in episode 3, I think. That was pretty much over.
Well, we're stuck here anyway, so
yeah. I mean, they weren't really getting divorced for a good reason ananyway. I mean,
no, they're getting divorced for a very stupid reason.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like, I mean, she just needed therapy, you know.
Yes.
Just go. If you think of horrible things when you look at your husband, just go get therapy, work it out. Like,
it's not either. Well, I guess we don't know. Do we know how?
We don't know. It's not revealed yet why. Why they're getting divorced, or, I mean, they never actually come out and say why they're getting divorced, but I mean, they pretty much heavily hinted at it.
It's because they lost the kid, but.
Yeah, and
do we know that it's like neither? Do we know how they lost the kid? Do we know what happened?
Not at this point.
Yeah.
Not at this point yet. We find that out later. But yeah,
We'll
like,
have
I mean,
to get back to that in the spoiler section because
yeah, for sure. And I don't think it's that she blamed him for his death as much as she just like his presence just kind of traumatized her.
Yeah.
Because every time she looked at him, she just had those
Saw
horrible
what you
memories.
lost. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean it makes sense that, that the divorce talk kind of ended and they're all back in Happyville. But yeah, so he takes over for Tabitha, and back at Colony House, Jasmine is washing the blood off of her hands and face after killing Kevin, which is kind of interesting. It's a very human thing to do. And the way that she's looking in the mirror is kind of interesting too. The fact that she's looking at herself at all.
Yeah.
It's
Also, the Kevin brought up her being warm. I
yeah.
thought was really interesting.
Yeah.
What are those monsters?
I know. I mean, I think maybe he brought up that her hands were warm because to differentiate from like the undead, maybe, you know. But I think like I don't know. I feel like they might. I've always felt like they probably used to be people. I hope that'll get revealed eventually. But
yeah. I'm pretty hung up on they're the original residents of the town theory.
Yeah.
I feel like it's at least some of them like.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I think too. So yeah, she then opens the window for her monster friends to come in and have a little monster mash. Victor is going through his stuff when Julie comes knocking on his door, and she's basically just like she couldn't find anywhere to be alone, and she's having a bad night, and she just wants to come in, and so he lets her in, and
I found that weird that she was like, "There's nowhere I can be alone except here in your room with you, where I won't be alone because you're here." Or is he like a non-person to her? Like, how does that
maybe
work?
because she figures that he won't try to like talk her ear off or anything.
Yeah, or bother. Yeah,
and it's like he's got like the whole attic.
That's true. He has a lot of space.
Yeah. But yeah, because if she goes up to her room, Ellis is there, so she like she doesn't want to talk. She doesn't want to talk to anybody, so she doesn't want to talk to Ellis, and she, but she starts asking him questions and asks him if he's going somewhere because it looks like he's packing up, and he tells her it's hard to explain, kind of blows her off. She asks him about the graves, and he doesn't want to talk about it, and she starts asking him a bunch of questions, and he just really does not want her asking him questions. But Jade is still staring at this journal that Tian Chen gave him with the symbols in it, while he's staring at it while they're eating. And he notices that two of the pages are stuck together, and I'm thinking, wow, Christopher's kind of getting freaky with the journal. What the hell?
How does that happen?
Exactly.
Okay.
But he they had to figure that everyone was going to laugh at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he like yeah. But he pries the pages apart, and a Polaroid photo falls out of the book. It's of a smiling man holding that exact journal in front of the diner, and they're looking at it, and Tian Chen points out that Victor is in the background as a little boy with his lunchbox. And Jade and Kenny are like, kind of dumbfounded by that. But back to Colony House, Trudy is very sweetly preparing to give Meredith away to Fatima, and she hears some laughter, and she goes into a nearby room, and the door shuts behind her. The monsters are like having their own little party. So there's like three creatures. There's Jasmine and Smiley and another guy, and they start surrounding her, and she starts panicking. Jasmine calls her by name. And tells her that they know all of their names.
All of their names, yeah.
And they, fortunately, they didn't show it, but they start eating her face pretty much.
Yeah. She doesn't get to scream for very long.
No, not at all. Yeah. Poor Trudy.
Yeah. Just when you liked her, just when she was turning it around.
Right? As Wild Marjoram said, she never got to ride the Alabaster Dragon. Poor Trudy. But yeah, so they kill Trudy. Downstairs, Dale is whining about how he doesn't get enough respect, and he's been there longer than Ellis, and he could really help them out if they let him. But he gets distracted and by blood dripping onto him, and he looks up, and Smiley's there just smiling away, as creepy as can be. And they, all of Colony House starts freaking out and trying to get out because they realize that the monsters are inside
and surrounding the outside.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
wondering. Sorry.
Oh no.
Just to go back to Jasmine real quick, when she was like cleaning herself, I'm wondering if she was trying to prevent them from knowing how they were getting in there for as long as possible, so they could they kind of stealth killed Trudy. I'm wondering if they're trying to like pick off as many people as possible before alerting the party to give like the monsters more time to surround the house.
Maybe.
If that's like maybe tactical or
maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, like I wonder if, because Trudy realized right away that they weren't monsters because she didn't recognize them, but maybe not everybody would realize that,
newer people.
Yeah, they might think that they're just like townspeople that they don't see very often, that just decide to stop by the party,
because they show that like one scene of after she cleans herself off and everything, and she goes and she opens the window, that's when they show everyone start walking up out of the woods. So I'm just like, maybe she's buying time so they can do it more slowly, but
yeah, maybe.
Anyway.
So Ellis, someone's ringing the alarm, and so Ellis wakes up, and he's just imagine waking up in this chaos.
Drunk.
Yeah.
Like, as drunk as he was.
Oh my God. That's brutal.
Yeah. Not a good time.
No, not at all. And Fatima's running around looking for Ellis. Victor starts working on leading Julie to safety, which is really sweet that he was so concerned about her. He gets her out of there before he goes. She's like, I'll be right behind you. And Donna is leading people into the van and trying to keep order when Fatima finds her, and they realize that Ellis and Julie are missing, and Donna is going to look for them, but Fatima tells her to, follow protocol and get everyone to the town. And so Donna agrees and goes off with everybody. Fatima stays behind. Victor and Julie are climbing outside the window. Once they reach the ground, Victor sees the boy in white and leads Julie into the trees. Like, I had to, he's like, the trees, we have to go. And Julie's like, no.
Are you nuts?
Yeah, I have to, like, if I were Julie, I don't think I would want to listen to Victor either.
Mhm.
Like, what are
I
you
also
talking
wanna
about?
I also want to mention, like, it does seem like Donna like cares for and has responsibility for everyone in Colony House, but she really cares about Ellis.
Yeah.
Like, she
Yeah.
really cares about Ellis and Fatima, and I don't know if she's like sees them as surrogate children, but like she was ready to let everyone just die on that bus to go back and look for Ellis and possibly die herself, and like it
Yeah.
was a great move on Fatima's part to get her moving. It saved a ton of people's lives.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's, I could totally understand Julie not wanting to listen to Victor because it just sounds like
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
a completely insane plan.
He's like,
But he
here's 1,000 license plates. Let's go into the trees where the monsters are. And she's
yeah.
like, no, no.
But he gets her to come with him.
Yeah.
Um Inside the house, Alice is sneaking through the halls. At the same time that the smiley creature is walking around. And he comes in and we find out why Trudy even existed as a character, which is kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
He walks in and he sees her wearing Fatima's sweater, and her hair is somewhat similar, and he thinks it's Fatima at first. Which I don't know how he could possibly think it was Fatima, because they have very different body types.
Yeah, absolutely.
Extremely so.
Trudy's a lot softer.
Yeah.
Like Fatima's a long, lean woman. Like,
yeah, she's very slim.
yeah.
I
guess she's bloody and she's got brown hair and he's real drunk. Maybe that's
the
only way they can pass it off.
Yeah, probably. But didn't he like come on, dude? Didn't you even remember what she was wearing or anything?
Yeah.
But
not the same outfit, just a sweater.
Yeah. But yeah, it's sad. He totally thought it was her at first. Mm-hmm. Then he turns her over. He's like, "Oh, it's just Trudy." She won't steal our shit anymore. But he is discovered by one of the creatures, and this was painful to watch.
Yeah.
He breaks the window and gets onto the roof and just jumps down. I'm just like, oh.
Yeah. It made my
cringed.
stomach turn over, and it's not real. I make TV. I've seen this happen. I don't know how it's like, that's just how good that show is. It still gets me. I'm like, whoa! It turned my stomach over watching that scene.
Yeah, and I mean, and they didn't even show anything. I mean, they didn't show him breaking an ankle or a leg or anything. But it just, oh god, it still made me cringe watching that. Ugh. Because you could feel it almost.
Yeah, absolutely.
God. Oh, it's brutal.
The way he, I know it's, again, I know it's like a stuntman hitting a padded surface, but it sounded and looked like someone hitting hard ground.
Yeah.
It was very well done. The way even his body bounced and reacted. And I know for a fact it is not someone's body actually hitting hard ground from that height, but it looked perfect. I was like, oh, that shoulder is messed up. He's not a good fall.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, he jumps off. Fortunately, Fatima finds him right away before he can, get attacked by monsters, because he totally would have otherwise. She helps him inside and shuts the door. And then she, the monsters are still in the house, but she rushes them into a room and hangs the talisman up on the wall and
She's in the they're in the sunroom, basically between the front door and the living room door.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's
gotcha.
like the door that, like, I guess is it like a sun porch? I don't even know what that is, but it's just a little enclosure between the front door and the actual door.
Okay, yeah, and yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's like a sunroom.
Yeah, basically.
But she doesn't know if it's going to work, but it's their best chance. Which is good that she didn't leave him behind.
Yeah.
But I mean, even if she did, she wouldn't. If she did leave him behind, like, what's she gonna do? Just run to town and get attacked by monsters on the way?
Exactly.
But she just hopes that it's gonna work. She hangs the talisman on the wall, and it works. The monsters are right outside the door, and one of them says, "Oh, like, why'd you have to go and ruin all the fun?"
Mm-hmm. Don't be like that.
Yeah.
They're like trying to convince her to open the door again. They start knocking again. So, like, major big brain move on her part.
Yeah, for sure. And it's so weird. Like, I realize that they can't get in if the talisman is hanging up, but it's still like it still seems so creepy to me when the fact that they knew immediately that she had hung up the talisman, because they started reacting to it, telling her that she was ruining the fun. But yeah, so it works, and they're taunting her, and Ellis asked how she knew if it would work, and Fatima says that it was just a guess based on Boyd's experience in the RV. They say "I love you" to each other and have a sweet moment. Victor leads Julie to a faraway tree, which, by the way, I kept calling it far away. It's Farway.
Oh, I thought it was far away too.
Yeah.
It's far away?
Yeah, it's Farway. Kind of interesting.
Embarrassing.
Yeah, far away sounds weird. I feel like
I thought they were far away trees. Yeah.
Far away makes more sense to me. But yeah, it's far away. And he tells her to get inside and warn Ethan that it's starting. And Julie's like, I don't get what you're saying, dude. But Victor tells her that Ethan will understand, and he promises to be right behind her. Julie climbs in and emerges in the root cellar. Thank God she didn't emerge on, like, the top of Mount Everest or something.
Yeah. Or in there with the Civil War soldier that Jade saw.
Yeah, or back in Colony House.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's crazy to me that you could hear Victor's voice as she's going through, saying that he's right behind her, and then he like as she's entering the thing, she can still hear his voice, and then he still doesn't end up in the same place that she does. Like,
yeah, it's kind of a cool effect because you hear his voice echoing, and then it kind of cuts off.
Yeah.
As she goes away, it's a really cool effect. I liked that. So this the episode has a very sad ending. Back in the sheriff's office, Boyd and Khatri are making their plans, and he tells Boyd that he truly believes that this is why he was told to get back in his car, so he and Boyd could help find a way home for everybody. Boyd tells him he's a madman, but their conversation is interrupted when the van pulls up and is honking madly. They rush outside, and Boyd is asking for Ellis, and Khatri starts helping the passengers, and like before he can, like, it just happens so fast. Before he can make it inside, a creature just comes out of nowhere and slashes his throat. Boyd shoots the creature. Of course, it doesn't have any effect, and then tries to help Katri inside, tries to stop the bleeding, but it's no use. And then Katri asks Boyd to pray with him, and they start saying, "Be our Father," and then Katri dies in his arms. Very sad. I was upset because I really liked Katri a lot.
Yeah.
Such an interesting character.
Incredible scene.
Yeah.
The monster. So it made me feel that Katri is definitely onto something because the monster came out of freaking nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, came out of nowhere. No one saw it, and it was already turned. Like, it was faceless. It wasn't a person. It didn't have teeth. It was like just so fast. It was just a faceless and fingernails that like caught him. There's no definition to the monster at all. So
yeah,
I've always kind of thought like there's someone controlling the board, or there's definitely someone who knows exactly where everyone is at all times, or is witnessing what's happening, and they're just like, poop, monster right there, just to like slow them down because he was getting them too far ahead, or like, where did that monster come from? Because no one else saw it. It just appeared, like,
it really did come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't. It's not like, and they don't run. I mean, they don't move.
Yeah,
fast.
Exactly. Like,
and there were plenty of people that could see behind him that would have warned him.
Exactly. Like, they didn't see it coming out of the station. If it would have been close enough to get to him, they would have seen it coming out, and maybe not run out to the van and just gotten the people in the van to run as fast as they could, because the monsters don't run.
Yeah.
So, like, how did it get to him that fast? I feel like there's something more to that they, like, he got murked by the guy that's controlling it all or whatever for getting too close.
That's interesting. I like that. Yeah, well, I've said a few times, I feel like nobody actually dies.
Yeah.
Because it's just, there's such a kind of parallel universe thing happening here, and I keep feeling like Tabitha might. Well, okay, never mind. I'm not gonna. I'll get into that in a minute, because I don't want to spoil anything. But let's look at some of Wild Marjorie's comments. I love that. Those aren't Easter eggs in Alice's jeans. Not Trudy, no, R.I.P. At least you got to wear that sweater you didn't get to steal from Fatima for a couple of moments, but you never got to ride the alabaster dragon. R.I.P. Trudy. Yeah. Maybe Fatima wears the sweater with nothing under it.
Click. Oh, it all makes sense now.
Yes. I feel bad because peaches were the only constant in Victor's life. Yes.
Yeah.
They were. And he's got to be like freaking out by that because he's been there so long.
Yeah.
And the peaches
over
just
40
now
years,
ran out.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. And the peaches just now ran out.
All of a sudden just vanished.
Yeah.
It's not okay.
What I don't get is he's been eating these canned peaches since he was a kid. How is he not sick of them?
Right?
Oh, God.
Like, he's like one of those like chicken fingers people that it can only eat like 4 things.
Maybe. Like, I just became able to eat salmon again. Because we got a shipment one year from a family member of Jim's, and they sent us like a big Omaha steaks package. And there was a shit ton of salmon in there. And then that same year, we got another shipment from Omaha Steaks, and it was more salmon.
Oh boy.
And
He's burnt out on it.
I used to love salmon, and I ate so much salmon, and this was like 10 years ago. And I ate so much salmon that I could not eat it for years. And I just recently started enjoying salmon again.
I hope that never happens to me. I love salmon.
Yeah, so do I. But yeah, I don't know how he doesn't get sick of peaches. That's kind of crazy. I don't get sick of fresh peaches, but canned peaches, yeah, I could easily get sick of that.
Yeah.
I wish we would have had more scenes of Jasmine and Kevin and how that relationship developed. I feel they had real conversations, enough for a crush to develop. I want to know her backstory. Yeah, I would have liked to have seen that too. Because I have to imagine that, like, yeah, how did that happen? I mean,
this is going to sound messed up. Well, it happened because he was using the bathroom and she knocked on the window. And the window wasn't covered. Or he maybe was just looking out the window. But, like, I have this feeling that it happens way faster than we want to think that it did. And, like, we want to imagine she spent, like, a long time building his trust and, like, you know, gaining his friendship and, like, making him fall in love with her. But it probably wasn't very long. He was so lonely. Yeah, right? I'm thinking like a max of 3 weeks. Like,
yeah,
he was like, she says it's cool. Like, bro, she's floating. Like, he's clearly doesn't have that much higher like thinking going on. I think it happened way faster than you would want it to seem. You want him to be like, oh, I held out for months or a year, you know, or whatever, and she finally convinced me, but I just don't think it was that long.
I wonder if it was like, I wonder if he got stuck outside at night and she came up to him and decided, like, to try to seduce him and not attack him so that she could invite all of her friends over to Colony House.
That's a good theory.
Yeah. If they can even do that, I don't know. I mean, they might just instinctually attack no matter what. But
once they're afraid.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe they don't necessarily have to, and she, you know, had a strategy. I don't know. No idea. But if they can even strategize, like, I have no idea. I don't know how. I don't know how, like, controlled these. I don't know how much on instinct the monsters are acting. If they actually, like, have any thoughts at all.
Yeah.
Like, no idea.
I really wonder if they have any kind of autonomy or if they're just pawns.
Yeah, exactly. Jasmine seems to have clear-up manners. I feel the monsters are like vampires. They look normal, then lose control like a bloodlust and cannot control it. But Jasmine goes back to normal for a bit. Yeah. And with with vampires, you know, there's the whole thing of they can't come in unless you invite them in.
Invite them.
Yeah. So that's kind of similar. And and they only come out at night.
Maybe they're organ vampires. So
yeah.
They just want to eat your insides.
Yes. Yeah,
much
maybe.
You
know what though? I won't get too specific because it's spoilery, but based on somebody's death that we saw, there wasn't that much of a mess, and it made me think that they're just basically stealing the insides and
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
What they're doing with them, I don't know. Building new monsters.
I mean, they leave a lot behind. Like, I don't even really know if they're eating the people or if they're just killing them. Like, I assume, or maybe it's just like the fear that they're eating and they're not eating anything tangible at all. But, like, I don't know. I feel like there has to be some, because they keep using the expression hunting. So I feel like there has to be some method, some bit of like sustenance coming from that the monsters are getting from killing these people.
Yeah. Yeah. They seem to always rip their tongues out.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a constant. But yeah, like sometimes you'll see. I think we've seen a couple of times, maybe during flashbacks, where there were severed limbs and stuff. But it seems like in a lot of cases, they just break open the rib cage and steal everything inside.
Mm-hmm.
So it's yeah, I can't quite figure out what they're doing. I don't know.
Like both Mr. Liu and Bob, they had both had their legs broken, but they were both left behind in different places in the places where they were left. Like it's just strange.
Yeah, it is for sure.
I feel like maybe it's like they're eating like the pain and like the terror more so than like the actual bodies of the people, because both of what you said about that thing and just the way they leave the bodies is just so strange.
Like Pennywise.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, Stephen King's wife's name is Tabitha and his grandson's name is Ethan. I don't know if I've mentioned that on the show before.
I didn't know that. No, I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
That's a good nod.
And somebody else said that they think that the car that's in the pool is the same car as
Christine.
Christine, yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah, it would be. Let's see. God is sending everyone to Fromville. Yeah. Oh wait, no. Jasmine does shut the window and keeps her promise. She just opens it after she takes out Kevin's tongue. Right. Fatima makes out with everyone at the party just for fun. Thank God she didn't make out with Dale.
Truth.
I didn't get the take off your shirt either. It was more of a sweater. Provocative all the same. Yeah, Fatima was trying to up the freak quotient.
It's my party. I'm gonna make out if I want to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I used to think it was faraway trees because they chuck you far away, right? Yeah,
exactly. That makes more sense.
Yeah, that's what made more sense to me too. I was trying to figure out which monster was at the end. I paused it, and it looked like a bald monster in a dress. A lot of the monsters have uniforms: a mailman, a bride, etc. Yeah, I mean, it could have been a female monster. I mean, it was already turned.
She says father, like she says father. It's a woman's voice, and he turns around, but there's no one that would have they would have been able to see her that close when they ran out to get the people from the van if she was walking. My thought is I don't want to do that because we'll have to cover this in the spoiler section. But there's clearly people they're able to make things happen very quickly.
Yeah.
So I can they just place someone somewhere if they need to make something happen?
Yeah, it's very interesting for sure. Kevin just got horny and let her in the window. Cartoon comic, huge eyes, and wolf whistle.
I use that GIF for gassing up every female friend I have.
That's awesome. I tend to use I go to Pepe Le Pew a lot because our husky's name is Banana, but I always say we should have named her Penelope because as sweet as she is, she's so sweet. She loves to give kisses. She's very affectionate, but she does not like being hugged. When most dogs, when their ears go back, it means they're scared or whatever. Hers don't. When her ears go back, she's happy. If they go to the side, that means that she's not happy. And if you hug her for like 2 seconds, the ears just go to the side. She's like, I don't like this. I'm very uncomfortable.
I love how expressive huskies are.
I know.
They're so good at telling you what they want.
Oh yeah, she straight up looks at whatever she wants. Like she just looks at it. And...
That's a good girl.
Yeah. I think the monsters feed off fear. Yeah, that's why they had. Oh, okay. Let's hide that.
Yeah.
There's a spoiler there. But we can bring that up in the spoiler section. It's like in Twin Peaks when Bob eats people's fears. Believe it or not, I've never seen Twin Peaks.
I haven't either.
Yeah.
It's on my... I have started it twice and fallen asleep during the first episode both times. I know it takes a little while to get going. But Kyle MacLachlan, I love him so much. I need to watch it. I'll get it. I'm going to get to it one of these days.
Yeah. What was Kyle MacLachlan just in? That
Fallout?
Yes, Fallout. I was trying to remember. I'm like, I know I've seen him recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's always great. I love him when he shows up he showed up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the series, and he was so perfect for like a TV level Marvel villain. Like,
nice.
Epic casting.
Awesome. Okay, well let's talk. Let's get a little spoilery here.
Yeah.
If you guys don't want spoilers, please tune out now, and we will see you next Friday. We started a little late today, but we're still probably likely sticking with 4 o'clock. It's just we just today
we're
just
doing
a
our
one-off.
best.
Yeah, exactly.
Life is hectic.
But yeah, I will just check the time, to make sure, and so you don't miss us. But yeah, like I said, we are exclusively on Cyborg Queen 2 now instead of the main channel. If we start getting more views, then we will move it over to the main channel, which I think we probably will as we start getting guests and stuff. We're working on booking some cast member interviews and all that. So
yeah,
we were closer to season 3. So it'll be a while, but so hopefully for season 3, we might be on the main channel by then. But thank you for joining us. And if you want spoilers, if you don't mind getting spoilery, if you've already seen the 2nd season, then you can stick around. So let's go back to Wild Marjorum's comment. Yeah. I think the monsters feed off fear. That is why they had that girl pinned to the tree in season 2 to make her scared for a long period of time. Yeah, that was interesting because they didn't kill her, or I mean, they didn't they did something that would kill her, but I mean, they didn't kill her right away.
They left her alive deliberately to disseminate information, which I don't know if it was their call or whoever's controlling them's call, but definitely shows some higher level thinking on if it's, or some strategy if it's on their part.
Yeah. Yeah. They also, made her watch her boyfriend or whoever it was get.
Yeah. Her boyfriend, I think. Her partner.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was, that was definitely interesting.
Can you remind me how Tabitha and Jim lost their baby? I can't remember now.
Yes. Oh God, it was terrible. It was, she was changing his diaper and they were both, I think he was helping her and the phone rang and he went to answer the phone. And at the same time that she was reaching to grab a fresh diaper. Yeah. Turned around for just a second and Thomas rolled off the table and onto the floor.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's horrifying.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah.
And also how do you not blame how do you not both blame each other and yourselves at the same time? Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
Which I understand why maybe that if without any further assistance or outside help might lead to divorce.
Yeah.
But maybe talk it over first, as you have 2 other kids still.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
for
know.
sure. But I mean, it was clear from the beginning though that Jim was not really on board with the divorce thing. I mean, he was
Yeah.
still in love with her. I mean,
Yeah.
when they were, I mean, when they were talking to Katri and Donna, when they were telling them about the choosing ceremony, or no, it wasn't the choosing. It was something else. It was some other scene. But they brought up because Julie was at the table for that talk. So it was some other scene, and somebody brought up Julie, and he's like, she'll be strong. She takes after her mother that way. And Tabitha was just like, but yeah, like he just seemed like he was kind of always trying,
Mhm.
Um, but yes, it almost seems like as soon as they got into Fromville that kind of dissolved and they were back together. Um, so hopefully they'll stay together. I mean, they seem like a good family,
Yeah. I think
Um,
that I think they're gonna get through it.
yeah.
I think they have to.
Well, I mean, uh, they're not going to see much of each other in season 3.
That's for sure.
I feel like Jim is going to go to the dark side
I could see that.
because, like, I mean, Ethan and Julie are both on totally different wavelengths than him.
Hmm.
Um, they're very friendly with Victor. They adore Victor. Jim doesn't want anything to do with Victor.
I feel like Fromville's trying to groom Ethan to be the new Victor.
Ooh, wow.
Scared.
Yeah. Yeah, I just I think that Jim, I could totally see, and it's funny because Jim is such a great father. It's like his one, he's kind of an annoying,
Yeah.
an annoying douche, like in every other sense
Yeah.
of the word. But with his family, he's great. Like he's
Yes.
a great husband. He's a great dad. But
100%.
with Tabitha gone and his kids kind of on a totally different wavelength, I feel like he's gonna kind of get pulled away from them a little bit. Um, and I
I
could
could
totally
see
see
that
him.
happening.
Yeah, I could totally see him going to the dark side. And becoming
Mhm.
slightly villainous. I could definitely see that.
Like finding out what's going on and joining instead of
Hmm.
trying to end it. I could see that happening. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, seriously. But yeah, so one thing I wanted to on the thumbnail, I had mentioned that Ellis's, and I should have brought this up because for some reason I was thinking it was spoilery, but it's not. Um, but I wanted to bring up, I had mentioned on the thumbnail that there were some possible Easter eggs on Ellis's jeans. I that's the full picture of him, but here is I've got kind of a
Yeah,
blurry
that's
close up.
it.
Yeah, yeah, and there's some
Very
birds on there.
mm-hmm.
At the top there, is that another bird that's upside down?
I can't tell if it's a bird or a hand.
Oh yeah, it
And
looks
it's so
like it could be a
sweet.
hand too. Huh. Interesting.
One of the two. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing on his left leg, but um yeah, that's now that I'm looking at it, it could be a bunch of different things. But yeah, that's definitely the symbol that's on the talisman.
Mm-hmm.
So that's certainly interesting. I wonder if those are his genes or if he
Found
like
them from someone else.
yeah. But I mean, he likes to draw, so
Yeah.
he
It looks
probably
like
would do
his
that.
art, the art that's in his
Yeah.
room too. So
Yeah.
he
Yeah, I
doodled it.
agree. I agree. Um what I was going to mention earlier about Tabitha is I feel like, when I said earlier that I don't think anybody really dies in Fromville,
Mm-hmm.
and I keep wondering if Tabitha might wherever she is now might run into like Katri or Frank or somebody like that. You know? That could be very
I like
interesting.
the idea that maybe she's just on a different level of the plane.
I think she is. I really do.
That would also give like a lot of credence to Abby's theory that once you die, you go home.
Yeah.
Although they're not home, but at least they're out of Monster Town. Although who knows if there's monsters in the hospital or whatever.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like I wonder if Fromville is kind of like the back rooms, you know, and they have to find the level that will transport them back to their real lives.
That's
maybe
really interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
I forgot to do this before the spoiler section, but do you have an MVP and LVP? You have
yes,
a
actually.
pancakes and box.
Yeah, I meant to bring that up before the spoilers. Yeah, I MVP. Definitely going with Fatima on this one. You know, she saved her and Ellis.
Yeah, that she's mine too. That was like incredibly quick thinking, incredibly smart. Got Donna to go to town. I kind of want to split it with Donna because Donna did get all those people out of the house into the sheriff's station.
Yeah.
But like that was incredibly quick thinking on Fatima's part. Like she had no idea if that would work or not and just put her faith in it, and it really worked out for them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, LVP I will definitely give to Kevin.
Yeah.
With Dale as a close backup.
I want to say that Kevin is the LSVP of the series.
Yes.
Sure. Like,
I also think Victor gets an honorable mention for MVP too.
Yeah.
He can have a little bit of a nibble off the pancakes. Mm-hmm. So I'm sorry. So you would say Fatima or Donna for MVP?
Fatima's my top choice. I would say like Fatima gets like the full order, and then Donna gets like 2 pancakes, and Victor gets like a kid's portion.
There you go. All right, that makes sense.
But Fatima she technically saved the most people because without her, Donna would have gone back in and they would have lost everyone.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I think Kevin goes in the box. Mm-hmm. Dale goes in the box, but he gets a talisman.
Which seems like it might work.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if the box is defended enough, but
he just has to sit there and shit his pants all night. while the monsters, stand outside.
Yeah. We call that a Randall.
Yes. Yes. Speaking of Randall, going up on the adding on to the theory that they can't attack unless you're afraid. Randall was season 2 when he got attacked by the cicadas, spent the entire night in the woods. Mm-hmm. Wasn't attacked. He couldn't be afraid because he wasn't conscious.
That's true. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
There's something to that. There's something to that, I think.
Yeah. And Boyd, when he killed Smiley, R.I.P. Smiley. When he killed Smiley, I definitely sensed some fear in him. Like his voice was kind of shaky, but it was still a pretty big act of courage. Mm-hmm. So I think that could still count,
Absolutely.
Like he was totally facing his fear of them, and he showed a lot of bravery. So it's and they didn't really they didn't show much interest in him, mm-hmm. When he killed Smiley. Like the other monsters were just like, okay, whatever. We're just gonna stand here and watch this.
Right?
You know?
I guess they maybe knew he didn't have an extra. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, very sad. Colony House, we will learn, lost 14 people. And
is that the exact number of graves that Victor dug too?
I don't know. I don't know if he dug exactly 14 graves. I don't think we ever actually saw. But we do learn that 14 people died.
Yeah.
And we lost Father Kotri. But we didn't lose him because we didn't lose him from the show.
We see him later on. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's still the worst fucking priest that Boyd's ever known. One of my favorite lines. I love that. Kotri's dead and he's still the worst fucking priest Boyd has ever met. I love it. But did you have any other comments that you wanted to make?
No, I think that's it for me. It's a great episode.
It was. Yeah, it definitely was. One thing that's kind of spoilery, if you don't want to know, if you don't want to hint anything for season 3, like about filming and stuff, then tune out right now. Otherwise, I did see something interesting online that on Facebook actually. I think it was on, I don't know, I don't know if it was on some Nova Scotia site, on some Nova Scotia Facebook page. They were filming in season 3 in like a suburb of Halifax, and there were creatures. So this could not have been a flashback to somebody's previous life because there were creatures. So I definitely think Tabitha is in another level of Fromville.
Fascinating.
Also, they're on I think it was on Simon's Instagram. Simon's the kid that plays Ethan. There was a picture of him and Hannah, who plays Julie, just kind of like hanging out on the hospital set, and they were sitting there in the chairs in the hallway, and there was a like a directory sign behind them, and it said level 2.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Very interesting. Plus, that hospital room is like totally decked out in teal.
Yes,
like
it is.
That town is all like teal and aqua, you know, and it's absolutely the same kind of color scheme. So I think she's still in some version of Fromville. Maybe she'll be in Maine, where, you know, Stephen King land.
That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, that would be super interesting. She's in Bangor, Maine. Oh man, she's gonna run into Pennywise.
Have you ever seen Billy on the Street? Billy Eichner's show. Have you seen the one where he says the question is, where is this Stephen King story set? And he reads the title of the story, and the person guesses, and he just goes, "No, Maine," and it's literally 25, and they're all, the answer to everyone is Maine, and the guy doesn't get it for about 6 or 7 in. But it's a really funny one. No, Maine. He just keeps going, no, Maine.
It's so funny because it's not just Maine. It's Bangor, Maine.
Yeah.
It's always Bangor, Maine.
Literally.
Yeah. It's so funny, which is where he lives.
This is right what you know. So.
Yeah. I find that really amusing. I don't know if I were an author, I don't know if I would write everything happening in Highland, Indiana, but I don't know, maybe I would, who knows.
Yeah, not me.
There was a movie actually, and a book that was set in my exact area, in the Highland area. And Highland's a very small town. But it was a true story though. It was called Region Rat. We this area of Northwest Indiana is referred to as the region. And yeah, it was a story. It was a story that this guy wrote about his life. And we went and saw the movie too. It was really interesting. But anyway, I'm getting on a tangent there.
Good.
But
I live in LA, so everything's set here.
Yeah, exactly.
Although I do claim Mothman prophecies since I did live in West Virginia for a time.
Okay.
And that's a nice fun one. I've been to touch the Mothman butt as my Appalachian legacy.
Wow. Did you ever see anything creepy living in Appalachia?
This is so embarrassing because my friends and I used to go ghost hunting all the time and are constantly convinced that we saw things that were creepy. This is my husband's gonna hear this and he's gonna be so annoyed that I'm saying it, but I full on lived in a haunted house in Pennsylvania that I will tell you about sometime off air. That
wow,
I did not believe in ghosts for real until I lived in this house, and now I can't explain it any other way.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he does not like that story. He's a very practical person, but he also can't explain it. So
yeah, wow. Yeah, it's I love watching, even though most of them are completely fake. I love watching the Appalachian TikToks like of weird shit happening.
It's real. That place is like, I know Florida Man gets all the credit, but Appalachian Man just does it on the down low. That's really the only difference.
Yeah, for sure. I missed something in my notes.
Oh my god.
And it's kind of a big one. So I can't believe I didn't remember it from just not even looking at my notes. I can't believe I didn't remember it. So the map that's in the sheriff's office.
Mm-hmm.
There's no Atlanta.
There's no Atlanta on the map in the sheriff's office.
Yeah. Every capital city and big city on the map in every state is there except for Atlanta.
Interesting.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Ooh, I feel like it's definitely set in the South. It says somewhere online the town is in Middle America.
Really?
Yeah, it was. I think it's in the Google. I use Google Movies to watch it because I can pay for the episodes with my points. Nice. And I want to support the show, but it says it's like a town in Middle America that people find inescapable or something like that. And I thought that was strange because everything about the show makes me feel like it's set in the South.
Yeah, definitely. Plus there's that newspaper that we see
mm-hmm.
in the opening credits that talks about Abbeville, South Carolina.
Yeah.
And just today I noticed something else because there's another newspaper page, but I always thought it was too faded and blurry to read.
Mm-hmm.
But today I paused on it and took another look at it, and I still can't make out most of it. But there is something in there about Valdosta, which is interesting, with the whole with Atlanta being gone.
Yeah.
Valdosta isn't near Atlanta, but it's like pretty much on the Florida borderline, I think. But and Atlanta's like kind of right in the middle.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's yeah, I guess not. But yeah, it's very interesting for sure.
Yeah, I had not noticed that. What a great
and you know what else?
catch.
You know what else is kind of interesting? I mean, this could be nothing because it's such a tiny thing, but it could be a hint to something. Remember when the Matthews were all in the diner and Ethan we were laughing about how Ethan was bringing more plates of food over to the table. and he was eating sweet potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
There was something on that newspaper page about sweet potatoes, which I found interesting. Because anytime like something totally trivial comes up more than once in a show, I always kind of I always tune
Latch
in.
on to it.
Yeah.
That is
Which
strange.
which is why I think we're going to see Thomas, because they talk about Thomas way too much. And I think he might be alive in some other universe.
I've seen people speculate that Thomas is the monster that talks to Julie in the second episode. And I'm like, that's the worst theory in the world, but enjoy
It
your
is,
life.
but it is. God, that's creepy as hell.
It makes him. How would he be? Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's not it. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it.
Yeah.
Rule that one out.
I agree. But it's interesting though. I wonder why we haven't heard anybody bring up the fact that Atlanta isn't on that map.
Yeah.
Very peculiar.
I feel like more people would have noticed that.
Yeah.
But I definitely didn't, so what are you gonna do?
Jade? What's also interesting is that Jade is, I think Jade might be the only one who was driving through that area when he ended up in Fromville, because he and Toby were going from New York to Florida.
Yeah.
They were going to Miami. And he would have kind of driven through that area. And he's kind of Jade's kind of connected to more things in Fromville, I feel like, than almost anyone. I mean, and he started seeing shit right away.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of
Literally the
something
second he was on his own.
Yeah. And very interesting. So much to think about. God, you could just my husband is so, I have a podcast and I still talk my husband's ear off about this show, even though he doesn't watch it.
He's got to get on that.
Yeah. He only watches sports and science and history things.
I should go ahead and say that, give my husband credit for this, because when we first had our very first conversation and you asked me about ideas for shows, he was the one who was like, "Oh, you guys should do From."
Oh, wow.
I was like, "Oh, good. Yeah, I love From. That's a great idea."
Wow.
And then he's like, he likes to remind me that it was his idea when I'm talking about how much I enjoy doing this.
Wow. Very cool.
But I got him into it, so I'll take some credit.
Nice. Very cool. Well, yeah, guys, we will, that's it for us today. But like I said, keep tuning in. We're going to be, I'm going down rabbit holes every week. So I will fill you in on what I find out. And, I'm really excited that we're going to be getting, a panel. Well, I'm hoping that it'll go up on YouTube, but someone will probably record it. But yeah, the panel will be in a couple of weeks, so that'll be super cool. And if we
can't get it on YouTube, I'll find a way to. I know people going to Comic-Con. I'll pay someone to record it.
Oh, sweet, awesome.
We'll find a way.
Fantastic.
I didn't announce that out loud on our podcast. That's not happening. That was a joke for all legal reasons.
Yes. But yeah, and then as we get closer to season 3, we will we're working on getting some guests lined up, some cast members lined up closer to season 3. They're kind of on a schedule with their promo, so they want the actors to talk about season 3. And they can't really do that until it gets closer to the season, but we're definitely working on that. So
hopefully have some fun interviews coming. I'm excited about that.
Yes, absolutely. I really want to talk to Scott Victor. That would be super cool. But yeah, so we We will see you guys next week. I hope you all have a lovely weekend. And that's about it. See you guys.
Have a good one.